S1, 2, 3. Is this thing on? Those are some nice kickers over there. Nate, I know you'll want them really bad. Today is Friday. We're going to be talking about the best entry-level or maybe first system that you should get, and preferably kicker. But thank you guys. Keeping these lights on in the studio. Lots to go over tonight. I hope everyone's having a great Friday. And Jeremy Shoopdog, keep you in my thoughts and prayers, man. Appreciate you and your mother-in-law. And everybody, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. And without further ado, let's get this show going.
Livin Loud.
Fellow friends of mine and their significant others always ask me, why does he always say, would you look at that? And you know what? I blame you guys. Would you look at that? William is here and he knows you just gotta look at it. Would you look at that? Would you just look at it? Just look at it. Thank you for being here, William from NGA. Appreciate you and all that you do for the community and just being here and a friend. Thank you guys, all of you, for tuning in. Is El Fuego here? I see the fire, but no El Fuego.
Uncle Bobby B, baby. Uncle Bobby B.
You know, I could play that track over and over, man. Thank you for being here, Bobby B. Car Audio Geek 97. Been meaning to get back to you. Oh, man, it's terrible. Notifications, messengers are blown up. I could just imagine Exo's messengers. Like, crazy. Thank you for being here, and just good luck on the YouTube channel. You know, do what you love, and just keep at it, man. Appreciate that you're here. And BT already gifting memberships to the green team.
Yeah, you turned down for what? Okay. Yeah, you.
Green team.
Thank you, Brian, for donating 5 memberships to the green team. And I actually do have that up on the side here. Boom! Would you look at that? We got BT gifting memberships to For Fox's Sakes, John Got Bates, Davis, Trust Dog, Edward Thomas, and Robert Jordan. Would you look at that? Thank you, BT, and I appreciate all you guys that support the channel and just tune in. But thank you, Brian. I hope you're doing well, man. I'll see you on the after party. Thank you for this, I wanted to say super chat, but Green Team gift memberships. Appreciate you. And yes, hit the like. You know the thing, it goes like that. Thank you, William. Appreciate you. Let's see, Garrick, I'm recording Head of State tonight, Uncle Bobby B. Hey, man, I remember when you always had to put something on the DVR or even farther back, the tape, the VHS, and hit record. Man, those were the good old days. You got to love on-demand stuff. But thank you, Garrick, for being here. You're probably missing your show, and you don't want to miss this one. It's not the same. Appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with us. Why can't I watch the live show at 1.5 speed? Well, actually, because I can actually talk about 1.5 speed, almost 2 speed. So if you wanted me to talk that fast, I can, Electro. But you know what? For the guys in the back, we got to slow it down just a little bit. Not no 0.75, though. That's too slow. Thank you, Electro. Appreciate you. Sometimes you wish you could watch live streams in 1 point whatever. 2 to 3 speed. Let's see here. Okay, everything's going nuts. Miguel, thank you for tuning in. What in the world? It's a crazy live stream. I will give it that, and but it's fun. Thanks for being here, man. Kyle, what's up? Man, we got 31 of you guys in here tonight on YouTube. Thank you for being here. We are streaming on TikTok, but no one's taking a look at it, but that's okay. I got it to work. It is working. Where's Stuart at? He's the only guy that watches me on there. Appreciate you guys. We had an awesome show on Tuesday, just doing Ask Me Anything, Q&A, and we got down some rabbit holes with different subwoofer sizes. And you know what? It's just between that and helping my friends at work, trying to pick out a system for his first stereo system. I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about it. Just different options you can choose with KICKER, man. There's so many options, and it's like, which one do I buy? SDK throwing out the pennies. Would you look at that?
I got pennies.
Thank you for donating the pennies, SDK Enclosures. I'm gonna need to see what 0.5 speed seems like. I mean, I could talk slower, but then the viewership might go down. Thank you, Jake, for tuning in, and you gotta keep it above 40 hertz. We can't be playing too low here. Thank you for the pennies, sir. I hope you're doing well. And don't do too much gaming tonight. You got boxes to build. I know that's what Bubba's doing. Come on, Bubba. Where are you at? Where are you at? Thank you for tuning in, John. Appreciate you, man. And busy as a beaver, but having fun. And I'm happy it's Friday. The work week is over. And it's like, okay, we got live show. I got to help out, Damien tomorrow with cleaning up his KICKER system with an L510. And Steelers Sunday. What could be better? 3-0. Let's go. Thank you for tuning in, John. I love you, man. There he is. There's Blake. Hey, hello. How's it going? Thanks for tuning in, Blake. Appreciate that you're here. Jeff Wallace and Trust Dog. Would you look at that? They're just throwing up all the emojis. Appreciate you guys being here. Where is El Fuego? I didn't even see El Fuego. Yo, I'm here from the Pacific North. Oh, we got to throw it up. We got to throw it up.
The Pacific Northwest.
Out of the hospital following surgery on Tuesday. Why is that on? Okay, I don't know. It just like twitched really fast. Sorry, I'll be messing with a lot of stuff because tonight's going to be fun. But still, I'm happy El Fuego is back from the hospital. He's safe. He's healthy. I seen him on CAE's podcast, and I'm like, oh, El Fuego's okay. He's doing all right. And glad to see you here tonight, man. And I know you're doing okay. And speedy recovery. Thank you for being here, El Fuego. I ran a beta player before VCRs, man. What a HD CDs. There's all kinds of, the beta tapes before VHS. Didn't they have like one spindle on there or something? It's kind of crazy. What is TikTok? I don't know. It's some, I don't know. What is a TikTok? TikTok, something like that. All right. Thank you for tuning in, Trust Dog. All right, cool. I'm back and white. I'm black and white TV old. Hey, sometimes, when I was a kid, you would always think that TV channels were black and white. It was like black and white back then. And that wasn't the case, It's not, just like the old TV shows. But still, it's crazy how far we've come in the last 50 years in just general technology, let alone car audio. Because car audio is so young compared to just electronics, man. You got to think the first Kicker, man, you're talking, technically late 70s, but Steve Irby started his whole, journey in 73. But even before that, it just wasn't really that big. So we're still in the infant stage of car audio on the grand scheme of things. TV's been around for even longer than that, probably another 30, 40 years. And can't wait to see what's coming down the line. It's going to be awesome. Thank you for tuning in, Swizz. John got base. He's got the green team. He got it gifted. And thank you, BT, and all the guys that gift the memberships. You see all the names on the bottom. If you ever gift a membership, we got a little tally down there. And all that does is give a YouTube membership. You get to be part of the green team. Your name literally turns green, and you're supporting the channel, which means a lot, man. We have literally, 124, but like consecutive people that have been paying for months on the green team, like in the 60s. It's kind of crazy. It's like having 60 Patreons, literally what it is. Thank you guys, and appreciate you so much. We got a little bit of extra AI going on in the chat. I might remove that one, but for the super chats, the donation, the gifter stuff, I think that is perfect to have it in the chat on top of everything else that we're doing here. All right, cool. Nighthawk, have you ever used anything other than Kicker? Absolutely, man. Thank you for tuning in. My first setup literally was a Lightning Audio 10 from Walmart and a Jensen amplifier, and then it was Kicker ever since. No, I'm just kidding. I did run a lot of stuff before Kicker, but then I got the Solo X18, and then I just fell in love with just trying to make that woofer perform the way it should. Just making the enclosure bigger, adding more power, making it sound better. And that was my goal, and I finally did it, and I can't wait till the new 18's out. But a few of the subs that I ran, Alpine Type Rs, Type Es, Infinity Reference, man, just kind of everything. Sony Explodes. Of course, the Sony Explodes. Everything. Rockford's. Man, I can't even. JL. I've tested a few, I even had a Sundown. I did sell it for a surround system. I mean, it was too good of a deal. It was just way too good of a deal. See a Solo X and a Sony Explode in the same sentence. You just don't see that too often. Where is Dubby, by the way? Sorry, not getting signal. Oh, no. LC2 bypass, 432 hertz, white noise, pink noise. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? Thank you for tuning in, Dusty. Appreciate that you're here. I hope your system's rocking, man, and just keep on basing on like Parker says. Thanks for being here, buddy. Let's see. Thank you, Katya Fago. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining the green team last Tuesday. Appreciate you. All right, cool. I could have been in a sock, but here we are. Dave, come on, man. I almost threw that one up. Thanks for tuning in, car audio enthusiasts. And, man, appreciate all that you do for the community as well. And keep up the enthusiasm. That's what people love. And to hear about car audio, it's like taking medicine with the chaser, you know, or like just something. It's not so bitter. And just keep doing what you do, man. Oh, we got Mr. DIY Audio Guy. Listen. You're late for the intro and you're early for the outro. This guy, he just comes for the intro and outro. He loves dancing to the music, and usually it's 25 dancing, but we got Justin here today. Appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out. Original solo round. Thank you, Bew, for hanging out with us. Man, you know, I always wanted the solo classic kicker. You know, the one that looks like the Solo X over here, but it's round and it's cool, man. I think 400, 500 RMS, you know, kind of like a CVR, gold, comp R kind of equivalent. But I thought it was so cool. I always wanted to put one in the Kayla's car, so we had like kind of matching woofers and stuff, you know, for the Solo X18 here, that look. And I still never got my hands on one. One day I will, but you know, it's now she's got the L7X12 and well, all the 18, so we'll have matching then. But hey, either way, still awesome subs. Just in general, they don't have to be square. And you know, I seen John talking about it, and Nate was talking about it at work, and he's like, well, it does really make sense why they are square, you know, and there's always pros and cons with everything, but square, you literally get, it's more cone area, but it is the only shape that makes the most amount of surface area. Triangle, pentagon, sorry, Dubby, no Sony explodes. Oval, the square shape is inherently the easy, like the most way you can get surface area out of the same amount of, like, you know, I guess radius, you know, and that's what they do. So every woofer needs a different enclosure, of course, and designed a different way because it's got more cone area, it's got more bore and stroke, and just the efficiency and just how it works. So it all depends on that. But if you're just talking bore and stroke, man, you got a lot of bore. You got a lot of bore with the squares. Thank you for tuning in, Bew. Appreciate all you guys. Fuego's got the fire. Of course he does. Hi, Miss McGill. Where's Miss McGill at? Where's my mom? Hello, Mom. Love you, Mom. Thanks for tuning in. Tell Lee I said hi and love you, Dad. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. I actually got a little bit more energy tonight. You know, Tuesday I was kind of dragging. The stores have been pretty tough. But the guys are doing awesome, and we got a full squad, man. Full squad. It's like having a ton of lithium batteries. No problem. We're good. Full send. Thanks again, man, for your comment. Tuning in. Let's talk about SPL scores, meter locations, ways to boost scores, and other SPL stuff. You know, I did have a Kickin' with Andy episode on that, but I want to do one of an actual demonstration of kind of doing exactly that, of different ways to make your system louder. Now, with your wall, it's a little bit harder. Once you build a wall, you're kind of restrained of that's where it's going to be, and then you have to adjust, you know, the port opening on your band pass, or, you know, just shrinking. You can't really make it too much bigger because that's kind of any box, but still, with an enclosure, you have a lot more variables going around because you're using more of the car as that cabin gain. So the position of the woofer alone can dictate heavily, alongside with the port, and where the port is also on that box of, you know, the sub back, port back, sub up, port back, sub up, port side, sub back, port. You know, it's just, you get a lot of variables, so you can try a lot of things. When you have a wall, you're kind of stuck there. But it does make a lot of things easier too, because you got a wall, man. I seen a super chat. I missed it. Let me pull this up over here. And, new scrubber been tried yet? You know what, SDK? Yes. I didn't get to try it, but it came in the mail today, and I don't have my phone linked up to the camera system. I didn't think I was going to throw anything up, but yes, it came in today, and it's perfect. But I was talking about that sander, man. It's going to be great. Just tea flying everywhere.
I got babies.
Thank you. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate you, man. He is just tossing out the pennies. Thank you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. I mean, I hang out with you on the after party. Appreciate you being here, sir. Let's see. Eric, and thank you for hanging out with us. What hurts YouTube? It round solo. What do you tune? The round solo. I mean, every woofer, I don't want to say requires its own kind of tuning, but every enclosure built in a certain way can work a little bit better with the different tuning. Now, I know a lot of people always ask about, like, you know, the kicker boxes. Oh, God forbid, the below 40 hertz thing, right? And even that did not mean that it wasn't going to play below 40 hertz, but it was acting as a slope roll-off, a physical roll-off rather than set with, you know, crossovers or any kind of DSP equalizers and such. So even if you have a tuning low 30 hertz, you know, you're going to start to roll off below that, obviously, because that's the point of having the tuning frequency. But your roll off can be greater or less compared how the rest of the enclosure is. How big it is, how small it is, how big the port is, how small it is, and a lot of other factors. You put a different woofer in there, it could react entirely different. So it doesn't always ever come down to tuning frequency alone. It's kind of a clear indicator where you're going to be around, but its performance of what it can do is always going to vary. You know, even the quad box, it's tuned to 31, but let me tell you, it likes to play everything above 31 very well in my car. Every vehicle is going to be different. Lots of variables, but either way, I mean, to keep it safe, 32 to 38 hertz is going to be a well-rounded enclosure. If you want to play a lot of wasted information, yeah, you could tune lower, but it doesn't mean you're just going to play lower. Jake's going to love that one. Jake's going to love that one. I want to tune at 12 hertz, okay? Can you get me there? Yeah, but it might not really play 12 very well. I don't care. 12 hertz. I want to play 6. Randy, thank you for tuning in. Finally caught the live. Thank you for being here, and that's why we do this twice a week. We're coming up on 250 episodes in a few episodes, so we've been doing this a while, and I love it. And thank you guys, when you can make it, for being here, man. Electro's got my speed at 2. Running out of juice here. Is a 148 amp hour lithium iron phosphate. So that would probably be the headway cells, and high output alternator and excess power AGM enough on 8K 3 Solo X D2. So you probably got those wired like 0.67 or 1.67, one of the two, depending. I forget which, but that's 3. So yeah, either way. So you got a lot of power on there. You're going to get a lot out of that 8K, 4 to 5,000 watts, and 148 amp hours of headway, and most lithium iron phosphate is usually 5 to 10 C. So 5 to 10 times that, not at 13 volts, but at like 11, you know, that's the amount of current that you can discharge out of that battery without the alternator. And your alternator is a high output alternator. So anywhere from 200 to 400 amps. And then on top of that, that's what your battery is going to have to do, because your alternator can only do so much. So probably pulling about 500 amps. Might have to pull another 100 to 200 out of your batteries, and that's about 2C of those cells regardless, not even including the AGM. You should definitely be okay with that. Thank you for tuning in, Randy. Appreciate that you're here, man. Ported or sealed, man, I love these softballs, but you know what? I will answer them. It all depends, because, man, ported boxes, they're gonna give you more output, but sealed inherently could sound a little bit better with certain music that requires quicker reactions of the sound with less delay. But now, some people are gonna yell at me and say that's wrong. Ported boxes can be for SQ. Correct, but there's always that physics just getting in the way. Sealed boxes inherently just have a less of a roll-off, meaning that you can have a wider bandwidth of playability, maybe a little bit tighter bass, but that's subjective. And the ported box is going to be louder around that tuning, above and below, just because that's how ported boxes work. So that's why you see so many prefabs that are ported, because people just want more. They don't care about if it sounds better, because at certain levels and certain people, it doesn't matter to them. I like that box. It's louder. They go ported. So it all depends what you're trying to do. Thank you, Bu, for tuning in. Appreciate ya. Garrick says he loves his ported box. I mean, I love ported boxes too, but I love a good sounding sealed enclosure, man. They definitely do the trick. Oh, come on, Kyle. Come on, Kyle. Southeast Ohio is here. Man, you're pretty close to me, man. Pretty close. Thanks for tuning in, Eric. Let's see. Recommending running single mono amp a farad capacitor. Man, woo, softball. We playing softball today, but you know what? I will keep swinging at them. So, a single mono amplifier, 4 subwoofers. A capacitor, a single farad capacitor doesn't really help with what you're thinking it's helping with. And they got the misunderstanding of making your system better because of that alone, instead of putting a battery in the back. It's just not enough capacitance. You know, it'll help maybe some with a little bit of ground noise because of the filtering and just how capacitors are. But I feel like a lot of people are putting those into their car to help with their voltage drop. And it could help instantaneously for dynamic burst. Steve Mead did an awesome video, and I want to do it again, with a 1 farad capacitor versus an AGM versus, I don't think it was a lithium, but still, this was a long time ago. And you only seen differences on the dynamic number on the amp dyno. A quick burst of power, because capacitors can burst power really fast, and they don't have much capacitance, regardless the name of what they are. The battery, obviously, the voltage would drop some, but still on a long test tone that you need for a amp dyno, capacitor's not helping. It's going to be the same. Thank you, Cornut, for gifting the memberships.
Because we don't want you to blow it up. So turn the gain down, Andy.
Turn it down.
Green team.
Thank you, Cornut. And then SDK. Oh my goodness, we can't get anywhere here. They are making it rain.
Make it rain.
Hit it, Michael.
Ready?
Peace. Thank you, Jake. Alternator and capacitor, great pair. The alternator, capacitor. They used to grill me when I first started doing this, and they're like, wait, what did he say? Alternator, alternator. The alternator. I mean, when you start talking fast, it's like a Yinzer slang almost. The alternator, you know? Thank you, Jake and Cornut. Appreciate you guys. And who did that gifted membership go to? Randy G. The guy that was just asking about the battery problem. Just got a gifted membership. Would you look at that? That is the cool thing about all this, man. Thank you so much, Cornut. And thank you, Jake. Appreciate both you guys. Justin says, don't use capacitors. They look like a big, tall boy can of beer. Waste of money. It's that, those 1 farad capacitors that are, quote, a waste of money because people are buying them for the wrong reasons. And for what we're doing, I mean, it's probably good for like 40 watts, really. You know, it's just not really doing much on a constant sine. It's just going to run out of capacity. It's not doing anything, and it's actually being more of a tax on your battery to constantly recharge that, and your alternator having to recharge that as well, and all the fun stuff as well. But still, you know, you can get real capacitors, 3,000 farad, get about 500 farad out of them, 1 bank of it, and it'll definitely help your system for like 20-30 seconds on 2,000 watts. You will stay at a higher voltage, maybe sometimes higher than what your battery is actually capable of even doing, because that's the capacitor point, is to help with the voltage. But you need a lot of them. When you have 1 farad versus 500, simple math, I think that's a difference. I mean, I might have to phone a friend on that one. I think that's a big difference, but I might take the 50-50 on that one. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you. Dave doesn't use caps, but you know what? I was victim of it. I had a Rockford Fosgate 1 farad capacitor, you know, and it happens. You know, we thought, slap it on there. Boom, we got better voltage. No. Maybe on like a 200-300 watt system, you could actually maybe see some differences because the capacitor was able to supply voltage on a quick burst and your voltmeter was pretty accurate. If it wasn't accurate, like we've seen with Cedric's, you really ain't gonna see a difference. You know, that's the thing, man. And we talked a lot about that last Friday. I love this stuff, man. Everyone's like, how do you talk about all this? This is a deep iceberg. There's only so many paths down to the iceberg, but it's very deep, man. It truly is. Let's see here. I know I'm missing a bunch other comments. Look at that. Would you look at that? Just look at it. Cornut for the win.
Cornut.
You love him, man. Thank you, Bobby. Miguel, thank you for tuning in. We're not even getting to the topic tonight, but you know what? I was like, man, I just feel like I need a topic to fall on, and if we run out of things to talk about, we'll talk about that, which, I mean, we do these lives for an hour. It's been a half an hour. We got 50 people almost on YouTube. We was there. They just dropped, but it's okay. I love you guys anyway. Miguel, an LC2i. Now, that is a inline converter, the converter thing, versus CT Sounds CT LC2. You know, I'm familiar with the LC2i, not the CT. I know Cornut's big on the CT Sounds. I'm curious if the CT Sounds LOC is not as good for almost half the price. You know, I did an amp dyno. Thank you, Cornut. I mean, he sending me stuff to test. I still got one more thing to test to Cornuts, but we did also test the CT 800.5 amplifier, and for $200 for a 5-channel is kind of crazy. The only time it didn't do rated was just whenever all the channels were loaded. That was it. And you're not going to be putting subwoofers on your mids and high location, your other 4 channels. And truth be told, if you ever clamp your mids and highs, you're probably pulling 5 to 10 watts. So you don't need a power supply that can technically power everything at once. When it's just a subwoofer pulling all the power, you can kind of cheap out on parts. Now with the KICKER 5 channels, they're going to do it regardless, because that's just, you're paying for that, and it's KICKER. Either way, so I feel like with CT Sounds, like you're gonna get what you pay for, but you could get some pretty decent stuff. Now with a line out converter, and you're always starting with your source signal, garbage in, garbage out, and all you're doing is amplifying that. So you never really do want to cheap out on the source level, because everything starts there. Just keep that in mind. You can always try it. If it doesn't work, turn it back. Just send it back. Get on Amazon, 30 days, you're good. I don't know. I have not messed with the CT line-out converter, but the LC2i, I hear plenty of good things about it, man. Between that and the key lock, I mean, key lock's great. It's a little more expensive, but it's awesome, and it does all the correction for that signal if it is not the best signal. And they do have a cheaper one, the Kiss Lock 2, for $29.99. Just saying. Either way. He's like, wait, what? KICKER has one for $30? You gotta be kidding me. Let's see. Eric with a $10 super chat, and it's Friday. You know, Eric, you're right. Do not forget Andy's Amazon affiliate link with the holiday shopping deals coming soon. Livin Loud. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you. And yes, Amazon. I think Prime Day is coming up October 8th and 9th. And I need to make like a list of just things I have. I do put a lot in the description there for Amazon and stuff that I have, I use. And either way, man, it's kind of crazy with all the stuff you can buy on Amazon. Unfortunately, it's a sad truth, but you know what? It's an okay truth, because there's a lot of stuff on there. And yes, thank you. That would support the channel. Cornut uses it for his grocery shopping. I mean, it doesn't matter what you buy. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you for that. And thank you for the $10 super chat, man. You are awesome for that. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, cool. Let's see. I know I missed a lot, but you know what? This is I'm getting more questions tonight than I was on Tuesday. This is great. OG Killer Swag 559. Thank you for tuning in. Can I put 2 L7X12s in a 3.5 cubic foot ported box? Don't have a lot of trunk space. 2 Solo X12s in the rear cube. Well, I have mine in around 3 cubes. So, and I could see it maybe being shrunk a little bit, but not too much, not to the point where it would be 1.7 per. And I know a lot of like the L7 enclosures that are either prefabricated or the KICKER loaded enclosures, usually around 3.5. I don't think it's going to be enough. Is it going to make sound? Sure. Is it going to sound okay? Yes, but you are definitely limiting performance on it just because the air spring, the box is not, quote, big enough. Kicker recommends, what is it, like 2.2 to 3? I mean, they just put 3 on the website, and, you know, there are ranges for everything, but again, you got pros and cons. So if you put it in a really small box, you might get a little less output, but is it going to work? Absolutely. Would I do something just to try it? Sure. But if you have to go and buy that enclosure, I wouldn't waste your money. I would build one yourself. And I know Jake's starting to work on a lot of prefabricated enclosures. Mr. SDK over here. Where are we at? There we go. SDK over here. Instead of making custom enclosures for just one person, he's really starting to kick out prefab enclosures that are custom spec, you know? And for the kickers, I mean, L7X enclosures, say less. You know, people want them, and sounds like you might need one. Thank you, OG Killer Swag. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate all you guys in here. And let's see what we got next. CM Enclosures, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I figured out I had one back in 04, and it was useless. You know, I wouldn't say everything is, quote, useless in car audio. It has its purpose, but is that purpose really what it's stated on the box and what you're using it for? So there's always that. But yeah, the capacitors, yeah. Thank you for tuning in again, Jen. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys that are, you know, the newer guys that are always starting to tune in. You make me want to do this even more. You know, sometimes behind the lights here, it's like, man, this is a lot. But either way, you guys tuning in, it makes me want to keep doing this stuff forever. Let's see. I was going to add one. I feel silly now. Oh, the capacitor. Sorry, don't feel silly, man. You know, we all started somewhere. And that's the thing, like with these car audio basshead pages on Facebook. That's why I just want to bang harder. Troy's taking care of that just because whatever. But that's why I really started Kicker Club. Because one, with everything I do, but two, people can be ruthless in there, and you will feel extra silly or just get made fun of. And criticism is totally fine, man. You know, we are all learning. Even the people that know the most. This car audio community, it's big, but it ain't that big. It's like, wow, the world's pretty small, huh? Well, you know that guy, I know that guy. You know, it kind of gets like that to a point. And you just don't want people to just rag on you for just starting to learn, because even those people up there started where you were at or had somebody to help them out, and they still started where you were at some point, you know? So the negativity, I get it. It's kind of fun to poke, but at the same time, like, that's funny, man. Don't do that again. Let me help you out, you know? And don't feel silly about thinking about running a capacitor. When I got into car audio, they were huge. They were at their peak. Like the bully in high school, they were peaked, bro. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, man, I need a capacitor on there. That's why your lights are dimming. Put a capacitor on there. And don't feel silly, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you tuning in. Let's see. Yeah, we're not going to get to the topic tonight, but it's okay. The U-Start Ultra Caps. How about 375 farads? I'm about farads. Yes. Jakes. Woo! Love you guys. I'm about to run it on the stock system, hoping for higher voltage. Yes, I got the UC31, and I never tested it between the Superbank 500 of excess power versus the UC31. I have both, and I could probably do a test with that. I'd have to have a standard battery and then do my battery test and see which capacitor does better. Well, that's an idea. But yeah, the UC31, I think it's cooler than the Superbank or anything DIY because it shows you how much capacitance is left when you're using the app. It does work. And then as soon as it's out of capacitance at like 20%, that's really when you're dead. Then your voltage just really starts to tank because that's back to your batteries. Like you didn't even have it in there. So it is enough. And that was on a 2000 watt system. Run on stock system, hoping for higher voltage. I mean, you're going to be able to stay a little bit higher voltage longer with the stock alternator and on a Salt 1.5K. Long as you got it wired, you know, normally, and it's probably going to do 1,000 to 1,500 because it's a sundown. Let's get real here. And it does a little bit overrated. And So that's about 100 to 150 amps, and your alternator can do about that. So instead of dropping to 12.6 on your lead acid or 13 on your AGM, you might be able to stay around 13.4, 13.5, maybe even 13.8 for a little bit longer until that capacity is out on that capacitor. And that's cool because it literally shows you how much capacitance you have on that app. That's the best thing about it. Is it the best thing since sliced bread? Not really, but you know, you can always make more power by doing it yourself with building your own banks of super caps, but you need a lot of them too because you're still on that timetable like you are with the battery or a stock charging system of how long you can play with how, you know, your voltage is going to start to drop. Capacitors, they just have less capacity, but they can discharge a lot. But with the lithium, in today's standard, I feel like they're almost not useless anymore, but they're just not as wow as they used to be. Because lithium, it can't quite discharge as fast as capacitors, you know, just carbon inside there or whatever, and the static electricity of how a capacitor works, it's like instantaneous, and it's not a chemical reaction, it's slower. So it's always going to be faster, but with what we do in car audio, and we're playing rebass, DJ rusticals, breaking glass, and you know the rest, the lithium, it's almost easier to just do that rather than have a ton of capacitors. But hey, is it going to hurt? Absolutely not. And you guys are awesome. We got 40, 80 you guys here on YouTube and 30 likes. Come on, guys. Smash the like. You know the deal. Where's Dave at?
Just hit the like.
Just hit the like. Come on, man. All right. Let's see. I'm behind, but I'm always behind, and we always got to be trying to cheat physics. They're always getting in the way. God darn Iron Hoffman's law. You know the thing. Come on, man. Rob Bain, would you just look at it? Thank you for tuning in, Rob. Appreciate you. And that's all you got to do sometimes. You know, it does fix a lot. You just got to look at it. Let's see. I tried an Aeroport box. It just wasn't my cup of tea. You know, with any port, you know, whenever I first started getting into this stuff and building enclosures, and I would see my friends, you know, doing numbers, and like, I didn't really know what I was doing building boxes. I had an idea, but I was very green behind the ears, and it did good numbers. And a friend of mine was like, oh, you got to open up that port. You got to open up the port. That's why you ain't loud. That's why you ain't loud. Oh, we opened up the port, and it did get louder, but it just didn't sound good at all. Like, it really narrowed of what it could play, you know, because you got to look at all the other factors too, not just how big the port is, but it used to play very low and sound good. And there's always going to be trade-offs, but even with the Aeroport, maybe when you had the Aeroport, you had too much port area. With an Aeroport, technically, sort of, you don't need as much port area. And the reason why is just port velocity and the shape and like fluid dynamics of how the air is traveling through that, rather than having hot and cold spots with just how the airspeed travels through a port. It's not just going through, it's just going back and forth. And that's why passive radiators work. They're just a limited port. But still, you have to have that port area pretty close. They're a little bit easier to mess up. So it's not that they're inherently bad to have an Aeroport, and you are stuck with either a 6, an 8, or 10, or 12. You know, you don't get 11s. You can make your own, but it's almost easier to make a slot port. And that's another port, too, where you want to have it as square as you can. The same reason why the Aero's better, needing less of the shape with less hot and cold areas of the wind speed going through the ports. With a slot port, if it's real long and skinny, and it's not just tall and wide square, you're going to have really hot areas that there's a lot, maybe, to induce chuffing. And that's usually, what, above 29 meters per second or something? I don't know. And maybe you want that. And then that's where just box building, you want to leave it to the professionals. You tell them kind of what you want, and you go from there. And if you want to try to do something else, you try something else. And try not to change too many factors. But the port just layout itself isn't going to usually be a name... what am I trying to think of here? Deal breaker, per se, but you kind of get what I'm saying here. Thank you for tuning in, Garrick. Appreciate ya. I think I'm running out of oxygen. Woo! Man, we are 45 minutes in, still did not get to the topic, and we got more questions. Only dumb question is the one not asked. Absolutely, Jeremy, 100%, man. You know, and you can learn on your own, but it definitely speeds up the process when you ask a friend, and that's why I love doing this. And I also know people that are smarter than me so that I can learn, and that's how you gotta go with this stuff. I know with even not just car audio, I'm watching a few different YouTubers or just reading into the forums of Reddit and whatever to get my own opinion on things and to learn how these things work and just general life, technology, electronics, all the stuff that I do on top of the car audio. And that's the way to do it, man. You gotta ask. You gotta ask them. Just say, would you look at it? The best anyone can do is make themselves happy. We do LS swaps on boosted cars. What do you recommend for quality electronical connectors? You know, everyone loves and hates butt connectors. Never use the twisty ones for house wire. I mean, you know, a cold weld is going to be an excellent connection, you know, of like literally crimping. And then electric tape and heat shrink. That's really my way to do things. You can solder stuff and then electric tape and heat shrink. You can get all kind of connections, and it's just like your fuse, you know, you got connection points and ferrules and all this other kind of stuff that you can get into, which is the best way. Just make sure it's tight. You know, butt connectors are okay, but they're not all created equally. And I like the butt connectors that literally have heat shrink built into it. It's not the hard plastic ones, so that I can crimp down on it really good, see what I'm doing, and also heat shrink it, and it'll keep it all together. Thank you for tuning in, PTL. Let's see. Thank you for tuning in, Cracker. Andy, how much difference did you see on the SPL meter between the 2400 and the 3600.1? Good question. I think if you look at my Warhorse video, back in, what was that, May, I think? Yeah. I did show the difference between the KXA 2400 and the 3600.1 scores. But if you didn't want to look at it, I'll just tell you now. It was a 147.6, same enclosure, same frequency, and that was on the 2400.1, and I was getting around, well, I had it wired at half ohm, so I was getting like 2200 watts out of it. And then on the Warhorse WXA 3600, again, I had it wired at half ohm, and I was literally getting, I think, anywhere from 33 to 3600 watts out of it, and it did a 148.5. So I gained a dB by multiplying my power by 50%. So that's pretty close to that 2.2 dB gain that I usually see on like the higher threshold of my systems of gain when I start to double power. And it all changes too. It's not always 3 dBs, but mathematically it's 3 dBs every time you double the power, and I only doubled it by, no, half doubled, 50% of the power, not 100%, meaning double. So it was a significant gain, you know, overall. It was, another 1,000 watts. And, the 2400 is an awesome amplifier. Same price when I used to sell it at KICKER. Actually, $100 more, but it had a lot of DSP functions. The Warhorse is a little bit more geared for what we're doing. And with the competition mode, which is kind of killer, you never have to gain match an amplifier. I know people are like, can you strap it? Can you strap it? No, it's a full bridge. It's technically already strapped inside, and it's 5,000 watts in a really small package. They do great, man. And yes, dB difference between the two. Thank you, Cracker, for all you do. Thank you for hanging out with us, man. Let's see. Did my old battery drop more after I left? You know what? I will show you. I don't know if my camera is going to be able to pick it up because I got the ISO on here. I actually took a look at it today, Cedric. Let's see here. That was yesterday. And I didn't have my actual voltmeter on here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. You going to be able to see that? No, you're not even going to be able to see that. 11.5. 11.5 your battery's sitting at now, and yeah, I'll send it to you. That was after like 2 days. I charged it up to 14.8. I let it sit on a charger at 14.8 for like 3 hours, you know, like trying to really get it, you know. And as soon as I would disconnect it, it dropped down to like 12.3, 12.2, 12.1, 12, and it was staying at like 11.9, and then I let it go. And 2 days later, I went and took a look at it again, and it's sitting at 11.5 today. So, I don't know if the cell dropped. It might have dropped. You know, you might be down one cell, or they just have that much degradation. They're just toast. So that might be why your battery was dying in the morning when you couldn't start your car. Thank you for tuning in, man. I can't wait to see. He's going to be picking up the battery from Sherco, the pre-built battery from Sherco that they do, and he's going to get the 4K model. It's literally the 10 amp hour LTO cells in a 6S configuration, and I mean, it's good for about 300 amps, 3,000 watts, 4,000 watts, you know, and on a high output alternator. So he's going to be going full tilt boogie on that CX1800 that's wired to half ohm. We like to have fun here. Thanks again, Cedric. I can't wait to see that. Yeah, he's rolling around my sodium right now. How is that sodium running? Do you like it? It's probably definitely a lot better than that AGM. But that sodium's good for about 140 amps continuous. There's a difference there. Let's see. What's the max clean unclipped power you can send to two L7S12s? Man, you know, we were talking about this at work, at least this week, and all the time, man. Like, we got two new bass heads. Usually it's just me and Seth. And now we got Damien and, well, maybe Billy, too. We got Damien, Nate, Billy. Now DJ's hanging out with us, but he's been a bass head. He was actually the first guy I had on the podcast here way back when. And, you know, we talk about bass more than cleaning towels half the time. It's getting kind of bad, but we're getting the stores done nonetheless. And we're getting Damien and Nate wanting to get bass, and can't wait to see that, to be honest. But with talking about power handling, you know, I love this question because it's so open-ended, but there is still an answer. The answer is not that it just depends, but kind of sort of where, you know, when you buy a KICKER woofer and it says 750 RMS, I believe how they test that is if you put a 750 watt amplifier on a KICKER 750, and you put it on there at 1 ohm, you know, or 2 ohm, and it does 750, give or take, say a CX18 or CX800.1, and you just literally run it full tilt, but unclipped power, you'll never have a problem. You know, they torture test these woofers to be able to handle those standards. That's why they have, you know, everything match. Even with Boss Audio, you know, everyone's like, oh man, that number means nothing. That Boss 1100 does, you know, 300 watts. But if you run it with their 1100 RMS woofer, it works. Companies, regardless of how they rate it, they're going to match their equipment ratings with one another so that when you match them, worst case scenario, it's going to take some time to damage the woofer because you're pushing it past where you set it. You're playing maybe just not rebase music, but higher level music than what you originally set that gain with. You know, when you set the gain, you know, 50 hertz, 40 hertz, -5, -10 dB full scale, and you play a test tone rebase track from YouTube that's really 0 dB full scale, just straight sine wave, and you play it at your set level, you are clipping. You are clipping. So there's that, and really, okay, watts. How much power can it handle? I love this because I've put peak ratings to KICKERs. I have put the peak ratings to them. The Solo X, I put a 10K Warhorse and it has 10,000 peak. I put the Quad Box, 4,800 watt peak. All of the watts, you know, 3,800. That's a lot on a Quad Box. And, you know, that's for a split second. And that all comes down to the enclosure. Is it going to unload? What frequency you're playing? All kinds of factors. I'm going to tell you this, man. If you just play it clean, you can put more power than you would think. And you're going to run into probably mechanical issues before you run into thermal if it's clean power. So 750, I mean, you could put a 2K on a pair of those and you keep it clean. You should be totally fine with that. Thank you, OG Killer. Appreciate you. And we got a super chat. I missed it from Trap House. That's why I got it set up like this. I love it.
Would you look at that? Oh my gosh, just look at it. Just look at it. You got to look at it this way, okay? You just got to look at it. That's all you can do anymore.
Man, you guys cannot get me to not say, would you look at that? Thank you, Trap, for the $5 super chat. Andy, have you looked into graphene super caps? I think that's like the carbon graph. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit different, material. One bank contains 9,500 farads. They're about the size of plananos, thinking about buying 4 banks for 72 amp hours. So they have 9,500 farads, so then you're still going to get more than the Maxwell caps or the ones that I'm familiar with that have 3,000. And whenever you put them in series, the farad actually gets halved every time. So you get 500 farads for your 300 farad capacitors in one bank of 6 series to get that voltage. It's like batteries with voltage and amp hours and all that other stuff, but a little bit different with farads and capacitors when you go up in series. So 9,500 is what, triple that? And 4 banks of 72 amp hours? That's crazy. So you're telling me that those have, what's 4 divided by 72? 36, 18 amp hour capacitors? I don't think even a capacitor has an amp hour. They got like milliamp hours. To get an amp hour, I mean, watt hours, you're still looking at like 15, maybe it is like 3 amp hours. I don't know, because you can convert that into amp hours, but still, with 4 banks of the 72 amp hour, maybe lithium, and 9,500 farad, bank, 1 bank of it, yeah. So okay, 1 bank of that, and 72 amp hour of, I think you got the lithium iron phosphate. What are those green cells called? But still, I mean, they're nice. And a lot of the other capacitors are the size of the Planano, like a 66510 size, give or take. But absolutely, man. Again, with batteries and capacitors, I'm not 100% on capacitors. I know more about batteries and capacitors, but they go hand in hand. Any type of battery that usually has, like, of the same chemistry, that has more discharge, or maybe more farads, more capacitance, is going to have the opposite of the other. So if you have a high discharge cell, inherently it has less capacity than a cell that has more capacity and less discharge. If that makes sense. They gear them in different ways so that it can, and the internal resistance reflects that. Thank you, Trap House. Appreciate you. I haven't seen you here in a while, and 57 minutes. We still didn't get to the topic at hand. Maybe I'll save it. Maybe I'll save that topic because it's a good topic for beginners, and what system is the best. I think I'll save it. We're gonna have to change the thumbnail. They're gonna come in here. Oh man, what is the best budget? Just beginner system from Kicker. And wait, what's a capacitor? What is that? Thank you, Trap. Appreciate you. I thank all you guys for watching. Man, we had like 45 plus people on YouTube this entire time. And the one time I get TikTok working. There's one person watching. Thank you. It's okay. I know it works. That's good. Let's see. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, sorry about the little chat bot, but you know what? I think it's cool, and I'm working on things. Mike, thank you for tuning in. I hope you're doing well, sir. Appreciate you that you're here. I still need to get with you. My parents, I think they still need that computer for something. The real horse is in the horse. Bingo, Vatev. Exactly. We need a horse head over here by the war horse. That's what we need. Thank you, Bew. Appreciate you for tuning in. What does everyone do with their leftover Kicker speakers and amps? Man, somehow they end up at this house sometimes, other times, Goodwill Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. It's a shame, man. There's a lot of Kickers floating around, but good for us. Good for us. Thanks for tuning in, Christopher Austin. Okay, so I'm back up to there. My first system was 2 6x9 truck boxes in my 87 S10. Dude, same. My first actual setup in there before I just had the woofer just sitting on the top of the trunk deck for a sedan. I had it magnetized to that because I took off the carpet so the speaker could be magnetized on there. It definitely did not work, but it was moving, so it looked like it sounded like it was working. It was free air and not done right at all, but I did get a box for that, and I put it in the trunk, and I also had 2 of those 6x9 boxes beside the 10, and I think the 6x9s were tapped into the rear deck, and then the sub had its own amplifier. That was the Jensen 300 watt or 400 watt, give or take, really 200 RMS. But still, it got down, man, and, you know, we all started there. The 6x9s, those truck boxes that had like the 2 mid-range speakers and the super tweeters on the outside or whatever, you know, and you just slapped it back there, and it definitely worked because radios were a lot worse back then. Nowadays, if they're not totally geared for sound quality and got heavy DSPs controlling them, you know, I think around the 2008 era to like 13, it was its peak, and then now a lot of the aftermarket, or should I say stock radios, are heavily DSP'd when you got the premium system. So there's some things you have to do to get a good source out that's not changing as you turn the volume up, because we don't want to lower anything. We don't need time alignment because now our speakers and amplification are different. So that's what's cool about the KICKER technology with all the integration. But again, you know, we all started just trying to make our system sound louder, and back then we were willing to do whatever. Throw some 6x9s in the back. It made more bass. It made more sound. Left over, they all go in. I know, right? That's what hey, you got any speakers for sale? Nope. No, I can't. Can you bump just as hard on one sub view? You know, that's why I have secretly only ran one sub, so I can be louder than a guy with 2. No, I love it because one sub can be louder than 2, and it all depends. Size, now, if you're talking same exact woofer versus 2 of the exact woofers, but different enclosures, that single 12 could still be louder than that 12, because it comes down to the enclosure, man. It 100% does. You know, you're just fighting against physics. You might as well put those 2 12s in a free air atmosphere. It might do just the same, but the box is just terrible. So yes, one can be louder, but again, it's that bore and stroke. Mr. Kip Litzy, man, bore and stroke. You know what? I'm gonna play it because I know I put it over here, and I know I was looking at it, and wonder why that's not coming through. Hold on. Google. There we go. Is it coming through now? Let's see. Oh, no. I gotta pull that up. We gotta do it for Kip. There we go. There we go. Bore and stroke. Your bore is your surface area. The stroke is the excursion. So it all depends with that and how the enclosure is designed. And so, yeah, you know, I was talking to Nate because, again, he's trying to get his first system, and he's like, well, will the single 12 be louder than those 2 12s? And I'm like, maybe, it could be, but it depends, you know, and a lot does depend on that enclosure and the power and that woofer and each woofer that you're comparing each. Thank you, Bu. Appreciate you tuning in on Facebook, man. You guys are awesome tonight. We had a pretty large show, I would say. Let's see, where is... Okay, so that's still showing on YouTube. Why am I not seeing... Before it was showing... Trying to see how many people are... There it is, right there. Cool. I didn't want to chat. That's all I got to do. We got 3 still on YouTube or on Facebook. Appreciate you guys. And thank you for all being here. If there's any last questions, we'll wrap it up. Let's see. What's a great prefab ported enclosure for a CVX-12 going in a trunk of a car? I know they don't make prefab enclosures or loaded enclosures from KICKER with a CVX. They do have it for the L7S. I believe they might have in the past for the CVX, which is kind of like the L7S or Solo Barrack counterpart, but round. So I would try to stay around that 1.75 to 2.2 cubic feet. And with prefab enclosures that are like on Amazon and such, you're probably not going to get the best performance. Now, I know, what is it? Other than SDK, but SDK isn't making that enclosure quite yet. We're going to get him on the bandwagon of just prefab loaded enclosures, because a lot of people just want something done, nice, built better than the ones everywhere else, and slap it in, and it's gonna do okay. And so I'm trying to remember. It's Ground Shaker, I think it's called Ground Shaker. They make really nice enclosures. I got one for the L78 over here. Let me zoom in the camera over here, so I'll show you. I got this L78. It's not the CVX or anything. Come on, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. There we go. Sorry, the focus isn't going to be perfect because I have it set for my face here. But that's the Ground Shaker enclosure with an L78, and that enclosure is over spec. Actually, it is 1.6 cubes tuned to 31, real small port. I mean, it's an 8, but that's big. I think the largest Kicker recommends is like 1.2 or something like that for the 8 ported. Either way, man. And then we got a $5 super chat. We got to throw it up. We got to throw it up.
Would you look at that? Oh my gosh, just look at it. Just look at it. You got to look at it this way, okay? You just got to look at it. That's all you can do anymore.
But yes, Rob, I would look at Ground Shaker. They make solid enclosures. A lot of it's it should be all 3/4 inch, and it's solid, man. It is solid. Let's pull this up here. Mike DePauli, can I pull this up again too? Andy, consideration on home audio testing. I know it's a broad question, but any interest? You know, I would love to get into that, but I know you guys think bass heads are ruthless. I think home audio is even more. Maybe it just gets a bad light because I don't actually get involved with it. But, you know, I could get into that, but I need to focus on the car audio for sure. Because I got a lot of stuff I still need to test, and just with all the live shows, it slows things down in life. But, you know, we all understand that. But, you know, you do want to broaden out a little bit of just being able to test stuff. I got so many shelf book speakers, you know, it's kind of insane. The big old JVC bandpass tubes, like, they are killer. I would like to do some of that, but I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. I know you're big on the home audio. You got the big floor speakers, you know. See, I don't even know what they're called. I feel like to do something, you kind of got to know a little bit about it, and then you can learn more. I mean, I do know some. I'm not an illiterate with it, but it's like to do a YouTube channel on it. I kind of get how it is with this. That's why, you know me, I'm always trying to cross my T's and dot my I's. I'm always going to be wrong somewhere, but for the most part, I try to be right. And I don't want to spread wasted information either. But we'll be doing this for a while, Mike. You never know. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And I mean, I'm always down for testing stuff. You need to just bring it over. I still need to test your old school Kicker gold letter that's over here. Let's zoom in on this. I know we can get this a little bit here. We got the new gold letter here, and Mike's original gold letter competition series right there. And I just found an enclosure for it. I need to purchase it. Just a basic sealed enclosure. And if my Volvo would be done any day, that would be great. It would definitely speed things up. But yes, I can't wait to test that. A comparison of the old school gold letter versus the new SPL. That's going to be interesting. Shannon, I appreciate you. I seen that you messaged me earlier. I will get back to you. I know you had a few questions. I see my notifications, and I try to remember everybody that, you know, hits me up. And sometimes it gets lost, so just keep blowing me up if it goes too long. And I try to give you my, you know, just total attention, just so I can, rather than just, oh yeah, and go on with my day and then not respond for hours. I try to be there for a few minutes so that, you know, if you do respond back quickly, I'm there for a while and I can hopefully help you out. But I appreciate you tuning in, man. That's why I do this stuff every Tuesday and Friday. And, I love it. I really do, man. I appreciate you adding me on Facebook, and I'll be talking to you soon, man. I appreciate you. I'll take a look at it. Okay, I got that. Thank you again, Trap. Man, I'm behind. Thank you for tuning in. It's me. Hey, Livin Loud with Andy. Hello, Chad. Thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate you, man. Round Solo Barrack 12. Yes, I got Sherco thanks to Joseph. Man, Sherco has been taking care of me, man. They made me a custom bus bar for Kayla's LTO bank. Sent me those 6 amp hour LTO cells to test, which I still need to do. That's definitely on my list. And now you guys want me to test capacitors. So the battery videos do well, which is surprising, you know, because it's a Kicker channel, but it's not many people are really doing it. You know, there's a few. We got Brad. We love Brad. Brad's the guy with Sherco. And, you know, I just don't see too many people out there kind of doing exactly that. And, it is what it is. Hey, I enjoy it, and it's something that I can do on the fly. I love the Sherco stuff, man. Yeah, it's working so far. The sodium, good. Cookie Monster. It looks like a Cookie Monster. Hi, Andy. What's the louder setup of subwoofers that you'd use with a warehouse, with a Warhorse? What's the loudest set of woofers that you use with a Warhorse? You know, from my understanding of what I have with this woofer now, I wish I had like 8 CVX 15s. That's what I would run on it. That's what I would run, you know, like just not huge woofers of power handling, but a bunch of them on 110K Warhorse. Stupid efficient woofers, stupid efficient amplifier, 160s. Yeah, I mean it's in the ballpark, man. Okay, yeah, I'm far behind here. Yes, they are 18 amp hour for the bank for 4. Oh, the capacitors. That's something new to me. Maybe it's one of those hybrid capacitors, like an ELDC or whatever they're called, like the JY NXT. Because that might be that, because they have capacity. Those have like 2 amp hours, I think, of capacity, or 4, the JYNXTs. But they can discharge 800 watts, 13.5 volts, give or take, and that's like 30C. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to look into that, man. Hit me up on Facebook or email me that, Livin Loud with Andy. Send me the link for that. livinloudwithandy@gmail.com. You can find my email. You can find how to reach me. You can send me photos. Watch the photos. All on livinloudwithandy.com. Left section, pull it down, and you'll see all the things you can look at. Enjoy the show. Thank you, Chad. And enjoy your night and Friday. And I needed to just catch up on these comments so we can wrap the show up. There is Dave. Where is Dave? Okay, that's Ashy saying hello to Dave. I love RGAs here. I mean, not Dave, not RGA, Dave. Two totally different people. See you, Garrick. I know I'm running out of energy too, man. Have a good weekend, man. Go get some rest. And have you doing some audio content? Yes. I'm getting there. That's the home audio question. You know, I'm open to it. You know, I look into the vidIQ algorithm stuff, and you know, it's like you could post some things that aren't exactly what you do, and without notifying everybody, and it's doable. I just don't have any extra time on top of kicking it with Andy work. Right now, it's kind of crazy, dude. Taking over the business, keeping all them, I guess you could call them men. We are men in line for sheets and family, man. It never ends. We are live on TikTok. Man. Unless, see, okay, so that I have to pop that out too then, because I had that over here. Yeah. For some reason, I can't see the chat now. I see your comment, though. And it's kind of like YouTube, where you have to have it popped out. Because now I see, holy cow, Andy's a multi-platform streamer. And maybe it is on here. We are live on TikTok, though, Stuart. And it finally worked. Q-bomb enclosures. They're not terrible. I mean, for the price, they definitely work, man. Thank you for tuning in, 420 Pop Kid. And, you know, they look nice. I had one, and it was in that sundown enclosure. And it like, the quality of, like, the material for when I had it was good. Now, longevity, I don't know. And tuning, I think, was tuned around 38, 36. So, and again, like I said, it doesn't always matter with that. Car Audio Geek, bro, thanks for the Kicker Club. Most communities are trash. Everyone is so rude and nobody even wants to post. This is such an amazing community. Thank you, Andy. And, you know, thank you, man. And thank you, Kicker. Honestly, I feel like they paved the way and I just kind of, you know, just drove my car behind and said, hey, guys, follow me. And happy to do it. And I know those other groups are they're ruthless. They can be ruthless. And, yeah, you know, it's not that we just deny people, but if people are just straight up rude for no reason, you know those people. It's like you're not even trying to help the person. Yeah, goodbye. And just try to keep as much positivity as we can because we all need that. This is an escape, Car Audio, man. It really is. We already got bad things going on between, you know, just everyday things, work, what have you, man. If your input signal is clean, how do you overpower an amp sub? Just too much heat. Clipping is, in a sense, you're creating more heat than power. And if that makes sense. If, you know, you got your 750 watt amp and say it makes, you know, we'll just say 10 heat. And you're clipping on it, but 750 watts, but it's clipping at like 10% THD, then maybe it's making, you know, 10% more heat, but still only making 750 watts, if that makes any sense. So even if it's clean, you know, you could put more on there, but then you might be at that same temperature of clipping at 750 at 900 watts, but you're making more power and it's clean. And that's the point, you know, woofers can handle more power when it's clean. It's that dirty signal because honestly, when a amplifier is reaching that clipped part, it's not just the square wave inherently, but in a sense, that and just the amplifier's efficiency and how the output section works and all that other fun stuff. But that woofer literally sits there. You know, the sine waves go like this, right? What does your woofer do? Goes up, goes down. Well, when you do the square wave, you know, you're going up, you're curving, you hit a flat wall, and then you're down. So your woofer's going like this, going up, it's going up, it's going up, it's hitting a flat wall. It's staying there. And this is happening so fast. You know, 60 hertz, that's 60 times in a second, 30 times, 30 hertz. And so it's just kind of hanging there a little extra longer. And how does your woofer cool down? By moving. By moving. That is how it cools down. So there's a lot of factors on top of it, but that is a big one. That is a big woofer. The woofer is not moving, aka it's not going to have the cooling properties. On top of that, with a, you know, not forced air cooling, but in a sense, with why there's dust caps and how those cool down the coil and pull venting and everything else of just different types of, you know, heat sinks and just getting rid of the heat properties of how woofer is designed. They're going to have that, but you're not going to have that part because it's not moving. If that makes any sense. Shoot dog, shoot dog. I gotta give me a Livin Loud with Andy shirt and maybe some stickers. Hopefully there are gonna be some at Slamology. I can't technically sell anything at Slamology because I'm always at the Kicker booth, but you can always get it at livinloudwithandy.com. Plus, I don't hold any stock. I used to make my own shirts for Team SP Loud. I do have everything to do it, but I have everything at livinloudwithandy.com, and you just go to the merch section, and then we got an extra merch store too. There's some cool stuff on there. But yeah, go check it out, man. And I keep all the prices very, very low. Very, very, very. I think it's like $19.99 for a t-shirt or something like that. And actually on the other website, I think it's like you can get one for $14.99 because not many people know about that. And it's the Livin Loud with Andy one. Let's see. I'd be very interested in testing receivers for power output as no one does it. I mean, I can do that. Long as it's like the same form, you know, with like the amp dyno, that's not a bad idea. Like I would definitely do that, you know, and just be like, okay, we're going to test something with 120 volts. And people are going to be like, what? Yeah, it's a home audio receiver. But let's see how much power it does. It said it's going to do 80 watts by 4. Let's find out. Oh, man, it only did 70 at 10% THD because that's what a lot of radios do. I wouldn't just say all home audio, but like car audio head units. When they do that, you know, 15 RMS or 20 RMS, that 50 by 4, that's really at like, not all of them, but some 10% THD, not 1%. But with mids and highs, are you doing all that power? You're probably doing like 3 to 5 watts, bro. That's just how high frequencies and all that stuff works. It's not bass clamp power. You know, it's just different. Thank you, Mike. And you know what? I'm down with that one. I'm down with it. I changed my mind. I'll do it. I'm alive. The best man can do sometimes. You know what? That's it, man. We got to be happy for every day we got. Let's see. We're going to keep this stream going on for the next hour if I don't catch up on these comments. What are your thoughts on the JY Power NXT hybrid capacitor? I love them. I almost said like because I feel like they're too small for everything that I do, but they make sense in certain situations where you want a lot of power, but you really have no space because they're very small. I have two of them, and you know they're rated at 800 watts at 13.5 volt. Really, they're a 16 volt to 12, well, actually 8.8 volt to 16.8 type of battery. So they got a wide swing. They're kind of like that sodium, but again, they're that hybrid ELDC, whatever, electrolyte, I don't know, capacitor, hybrid. And so they're really, 2 amp hours? Yeah, 2 amp hours, and then 30C, so 60 amps technically continuous, and that's how they're getting that 800 watts at 13.5 volts. And that's like a conservative rating, just because I think those cells on, everything's from Japan and China, are listed at 60C. But either way, we want 13, 12 volts. We don't want 9, 8. So that's where that 60 is probably coming from. So they work, but you got to look at it like this. It's a very, very tiny battery. That capacitor is going to do something compared to the 1 farad capacitor. That's what I'll tell you. Thank you, Trap House. Sent info to your messenger on the big hybrid capacitor. Man, this show ain't ending, is it?
I got pennies.
Thank you, Trap. I appreciate you for that, man. And you know what? I'll take a look at it. Since you're telling me to look at it, I'm gonna take a look at it here. Might take a second for all this to load up here. But yeah, I mean, they work. Maybe, some people aren't going to like the price tag on them, but, it's a lot of power, and the battery is this big. The only thing, again, like the JP40, the terminals are real small on that. It's just like JY NXT, the JP40, the JY HP40, JP40, JY, HP40, man, there's so many of them. All have kind of smaller terminals, but the JY HP40, the JY40, had a bigger terminal block, but still, JP40 terminals are real small on that, really small battery. Sent info to your messenger on the bigger capacitor. I don't see it. Which messenger? Livin Loud Andy or Andy? Because we got two of them. Let me look. Let me take a look. It's taking me to Meta Business. And it's having an issue because I am live here. Inbox. Shannon. Hey, Andy, you just seen your recent video on YouTube. Got a question. Oh, man. Got you. Okay, yeah, you added me on Facebook, too. That's where I seen that. You know what? I knew your face looked familiar, Shannon. Yeah, I do not see it. I'm looking. I am looking for it. There it is. Okay, so I wonder if I can make this big here. Okay, so 288 watt hours, 9500 farad capacitor, 18 amp hours, rated voltage 16 volts. Whoa. Is this the bank itself, I'm guessing? Okay, so they're 4.2 volt. What? Wow. 38,000 farad, 18 amp hour. Okay, so that's where you're getting your 95 or something. Maximum pulse current, 20,000 amps. That's a lot of watts, guys. 20,000 watts, okay, maximum continuous discharge, 540 amps. I mean, it's not terrible. No. And again, 540 amps on the capacitor side of things, I think is kind of low. That's why it has some capacity. Maybe it's some kind of hybrid. It would have to be. I will definitely look more into it, but a 4.2 voltage cell, that's a very high voltage cell just in general. Because I know a lot of capacitors, they're in like the 2 volt range, and you got 6 of them. So if you got 4.2, you can only run 4. So that's why you're getting that 9,500 out of the 38,000. 4. That's okay. So that makes sense. I'm like, well, how is it 6? So that's why it's 4.2. So it's the same voltage range. Full charge is like lithium ion, CMAX, BIM08, stuff like that, and even sodium. It's up to 4. But still, yeah. I mean, all you got to look at is that constant discharge rate of 540 amps and the capacity. And 500 amps at 18 amp hours, what is that, around 25 C or something like that? Yeah, because 20, 18, yeah, that would be 360, 20 C, so about 30 C. And to be honest with you, I think that is okay, because that's maybe a little bit more discharge per weight class, aka amp hours, than a Planano 24, that's also 30 C. But either way, I don't 100% know on this. I don't know if that's a capacitor, unless that might be something entirely new, man. I don't know. That voltage range is weird. It's got a lot of farads, and I'm surprised it actually shows how much constant current that it can discharge. But being 18 amp hours, I think you could actually probably get that number rather than just the peak of 22,000. That's kind of cool, man. Thank you so much, Trap, for sending me that, and appreciate you for the pennies. I'm just going to throw it again. We need the pennies.
I got pennies.
It was real, Dave. It was 100% real. Love you, buddy. And, I love the intros just for that, because I get to see you guys every Tuesday and Friday, man. Just looking at you, getting the demo Cookie Monster. Yeah, see, the TikTok is working. I'm just that far behind on the comments. So that's cool, because people that are watching on YouTube and Facebook, it also works for TikTok. So when I'm live on TikTok and you comment, I can pull the comments up just the same. Nobody else is doing that in this industry. No one. It's a lot of work, and it's working. I'm happy. Thank you, Stuart. You know what? I need to know where Baba is. Where is Baba? If he's playing Once Human, you know what? I'm going to go play Starfield instead of the Discord after party. Just to be like, you know what, Baba? Look what you made me do. Just look what you made me do. Nah, I wouldn't do that to you guys. Kicker and Love here. All best around both worlds. Love y'all. Thank you, Jeremy Shoopdog, for tuning in. Appreciate you, and love all you guys. And Kicker and Love, it goes hand in hand, man. Thank you, Shoopdog. Okay, cool. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Trust Dog dropping the emojis. I know we got the emojis that float up on the screen. It's so much better than StreamYard. It just took me a while to get here, and man, I'm ready. We're gonna have some guests coming on. I'm ready for that now. I wanted to get all this other stuff working 100%, get some flow with the show, and just get used to it. It was like riding a bicycle, or should I say riding a tricycle, streaming on StreamYard, and now I'm on a crotch rocket. Oh my God, I'm gonna die. Okay, we can do this. We can do this. And Bob on the clutch a little bit, stall out a few times, but after that, it is smooth sailing. Everybody needs to be buying a Livin Loud Andy sticker and rocking it on their back window to help get the word out. I know I need to get the big stickers. I got small stickers. I need to find a site that makes big stickers. Maybe I can get with Decal Daddies, Kyle and them. See if they can make something big, put on their website, so you guys can pick that up. Just because I got the printer to do it too. I just don't do it. Just because Kayla is tired of weeding all that stuff, heat pressing the shirts. Everybody rather just, go online and pick that up. But either way, thank you, Cracker. And of course, livinloudwithandy.com. You can go to the merch section, just scroll down, you'll see all kinds of stuff. It's all interactive little gifts going on. You press them and it'll take you, just look at it and buy some stuff. Appreciate you. I make like $1 or so on the t-shirts. It's just so that you guys are repping the brand to keep the prices low, because I don't want to pay $30 for a t-shirt, even though I know you guys would and you guys support otherwise. I mean, for something like that, nah, that's okay. But I appreciate you for that, and thank you for repping. Thank you, Cracker. Where's Amp Dinos at? I want 18 650s with nickel stripes for my system. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's okay for e-bikes, man. When people say you could use 18 650s for car audio, I'm like, Technically, yes, but you know, there's going to be that guy using nickel plates to connect all those 18650s, buys the battery, case it Amazon, and puts it together. He's like, my car caught on fire. You know, just stick with what's out there and use the bigger cells. I mean, the more cells you got, the more complex things are, a little bit different thermal resistance values between each connection. You just got more variables, and just keep with the bigger cells. I mean, you can do it. You can do anything you want. Thank you for tuning in, Amp Dinos. Appreciate you. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, go sub to Amp Dinos, man. He does what I do with the SPL Lab, and then some. Thanks for tuning in, Mac. Appreciate all you guys. We are still live. I don't mind doing the hour-and-a-half shows. I really don't, because it's like I get the flow after like 20 minutes, so we still get that whole hour. Thank you, Mac, for tuning in. Appreciate you always hanging out. Audio Dad, liking on TikTok. Followed the host. Would you look at that? Would you just... Bobby B's on TikTok. Would you look at that? Thank you, Audio Dad, and I'm glad TikTok's working. Thank you, Stelio, for following. Would you look at that? Yes. Yes. Finally, I can use TikTok. Where's Baba and Stu? I haven't seen Stu in a while. I know Baba was supposed to make it tonight. He told me he was going to make it, and he said he was going to make it to the after party. If he doesn't make it to the after party, then I'm going to be mad. I mean, you can miss a live show. That's okay. But not the after party. Can't do that. Thank you, SJC, for tuning in. Appreciate that you're here. You guys just remind me why I keep doing this. Appreciate you, buddy. Everyone likes to build their system on their own, but don't be scared to ask questions. Knowledge is the key. These guys in the room have a lot of knowledge. Ask away. Bingo. And that's why I like to have this platform open so the guys can answer in the chat. Man, you know, we got Professor Blake in there, and I try my best, and this is where we do it. You know, Kicker Club is great. That's why I like it like that, so you can go and ask questions without getting ridiculed. Plus, you get sometimes responses from the employees at Kicker. How cool is that? You know, Basehead's on a budget. I know Sky High owns that, but I don't see them helping out. I'm just saying, I'm just looking at it. I don't see them, you know. I don't see John Rabe. I love John too, but I don't see him commenting on, oh yeah, man, you just got to use this and this. Kicker guys are awesome, but you already knew that. And, Tech Force, man, it's where it's at. It's even in Kicker Club. And we do it here. Thank you, Cracker. Appreciate you. Buy my R1. Rockford Facegate? I R1, oh, the Jigsaw, the R1, that's Yamaha, I think. Yeah, Yamaha's an R1, right? 1000, yeah. I mean, I'm cool with a 6. 1000 is a lot of bike, and my little 250 does great. It does great. William's just looking at it. He is just looking at it. Glad you're here, man. And we gave William a wrench. 1, because his comments were coming up. I don't know what the heck was happening with that. And 2, I mean, William, why not? I mean, why not? Why not? Let's see. I have my Livin Loud with Andy shirt. I know. I'm working on some new merch with K5 on a t-shirt. Thank you, Dubby. But I got to take care of the guy that made Johnny first. Then I'll put it on the website. Where's Bubba? Could you use a Prius battery for car audio? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's where you get like the C-Max cells. It's like from a, what is it? Ford, not a C-Max, Ford C-Max or something like it. They're from hybrid cars, or electric cars. And usually they're like lithium ion, you know, the 3.7 volt. Well, that's 4.2. Yeah, that is high. That's even higher. That cell that Trap House was showing. Lithium ion's 3.7. That's 4.2. Nominal. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that battery. Yeah, that is the highest voltage I've ever seen per cell. That's one cell. That is crazy. But with the Prius, usually they're 3.7 volt per cell, just configured up to 400 volts. And that's where you see those batteries disassembled, and then they sell them per cell, and people build battery banks for them, the DIY versions. And absolutely, man. Absolutely, SJC. You like the live? They like the live? Would you look at that? I'm so glad TikTok's working. Oh, that was a lot of work. So all I got to do is just do the stream key last minute, and it works. When you wait 4 hours, it does not work. John! Hi, Andy. Appreciate you tuning in. Can 2 15L7s be louder than 2 12 Solo X's? Again, it comes down... Well, let's just say the enclosures are kind of close, even though they require kind of different enclosures, but it's KICKER. I mean, let's just keep it simple. The 215 L7s, more cone area, less excursion. The 12s, more excursion, less cone area. Maybe a little bit more power needed, but a little bit more power also can be applied. And just, you know, in a picture perfect world, I would say that the 15s should be able to be louder, but I feel like the Solo X12s are inherently going to be louder at a lower frequency, easier because of how they're designed. Maybe not in every case, but with like how much excursion that those 12s have, I feel like it kind of makes up for almost all that cone area that they don't have compared to the 15s. Because those 15s got 250, so that's 500 square inches cone area, and the 212s are 288, 144 pop. So it's literally almost half the amount of cone area. So does it have twice the excursion? Almost. I think it almost does. It might. It might. It's a close race. But again, frequency dependent, enclosure dependent. I mean, I think the L715s would be a great daily system. And if you want to take yours to play a lot of wasted information, go with the L7X12s. Now we can end the show because Bob is here. Bob is here. I'm glad you're here, Baba. I am glad you're here, and I'm glad I made the show go for an hour and a half. And we got our first ever comment from TikTok. Thank you, Stilo Contos. That isn't one of the guys. What's a good second battery for a 4,000 watt system on a stock battery and electrical? You know, man, that's a great question. I'm going to go easy on this and say an LTO battery. You can go everything from DIY to pre-built. Since you're asking me that kind of question, I'm going to tell you maybe just go with the pre-built. You got excess power, you got the Titan series. I would suggest the PWR S6. It's the 6 series power. There's that, and you can also go to Sherco Batteries. They got some pre-built batteries as well, shercobatteries.com, and you're looking around anywhere from $400 to $700. Some have different kind of input styles. Some are more basic and maybe warranty a little bit better. It all depends, and then you could always do it yourself. But honestly, man, your first time getting a second battery is kind of, you know, it's a big step. You can go with the lithium iron phosphate. It's a lot easier, I would say, to mix with, like, you know, stock charging and get the most out of your battery without, you know, just everything with adding a second battery could entail. Lithium iron phosphate was honestly my first lithium battery, and it worked out great. I had the JY HP40. I still do 6 years later. And I mean, there's lots of options. I just did a video on the JP40 that's on sale right now, I think for like $500 or $600, give or take. And you know, it all depends what you're trying to do, and batteries get complicated. But to keep it simple, man, on 4,000 watts, all those kind of choices that I was mentioning would work great. You got the Titan PWR S6 or the RSV6, but make sure you get the S6. I have the S5 in both you know, both versions. And, you know, I feel like even though you don't have to charge super high, you can still get about the same, and it works just okay for the S6 on a 14.8 charge, you know, and that's normal charging for a stock charging setup like you got there. Thank you, Stelio. Appreciate you. First TikTok comment. I love it. I love it. All right, is this still working here? My comments stopped working on the YouTube side. It's probably because it's telling me quit being live so long here. Yeah. All right. Andy has more likes than people watching right now. That's how it should be, gang. That is awesome. Thank you, Ashy. How many do we got here? Let's take a look. Okay, we got TikTok there. We got YouTube there. 42 likes. I know. It's because I'm letting the show go real long. You guys are dipping. You guys are falling. I'm tired. Thank you guys so much for watching. There's the Titan 8 XS3400. They got lots of options. Go check out XS Power, man. They take care of me. They take care of you guys. They make great stuff. And might be a little bit more expensive than DIY and other, you know, things that I was mentioning. But still, it does the job, man. It really does. XS 3400. Absolutely, man. All right, let's end this thing. And for some reason, some of my comments aren't coming up. I don't know why. Yeah, see, I don't see Car Audio Enthusiast. I do see that one. Just Dave. I don't see Just Dave's. Let me pull this down here. Let me pull this here. Let me see if this is working. Just... Okay, that's working there. That's it. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I'm not going to keep you here forever. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you tune in this Tuesday. I know a lot of people were asking about that 50% off discount code. That's not this Tuesday. That's next Tuesday on Kicking It with Andy, which is this channel. And but Kicker Unmasked, they still do giveaways. First, second, third, Bullfrog, TBs, and all kinds of stuff. And love what they do. And make sure you tune in. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have an excellent weekend. In advance, thank you for all you say at the end. The caboose. I love you guys. And as always, stay living loud. I'll see you on the next one. Yeah, I'm a little tired. Love you guys.
Okay. So we're kicking it with Andy, right? You know what that means. We living loud.
Dave, you're calling me and I'm live. I am still live, Dave. Time to dance. Time to dance. Thank you, Ashy. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Dave. SJC. Great show as always. Sorry, some comments are wrong. Thank you, Dubby. Dubby. Thank you, Cracker. As always. Thanks for tuning in. Some reason the YouTube comments weren't coming in. I must have did something. Now they're coming in fine. That's how this is. It's all manual. It is all manual. Type them comments at the end. I love you guys. Look at those cookie monsters. Just look at them. And don't forget to order some Livin Loud with Andy Swag and hit the like. You know the deal. And those pasties get me too, sir. Those pasties get me. And all them solo X's just rolling up. Just you gotta look at him. Oh, look at him right there. Oh, look at all them solo X's just floating. Oh, sniper alert, SJC! Hey, Cornet's sleeping on it. I love you guys. And, oh, no. He took it. Oh, stay living loud.